Literature has always been used to shed light on the many aspects of society. Short stories in particular often have underlying messages regarding morals and values. As the authors reflect and create values in relation to their surroundings, they support the positive values while changing the negative ones, giving authors the opportunity to share their beliefs. The American short story authors since the 1850s took advantage of the ability to spread their beliefs through literature. You fancy me mad? Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. This story, A Telltale Heart, is a short horror story. The author, Edgar Allan Poe, is creating or changing some American values and privileges because Poe believes they are being abused. The basic story focuses on a man who is thought to be insane. He tries to explain that he is not crazy, that he is only vexed by his servant's eye, which he believes is evil. The man devises a plan to kill his servant, thus ridding himself of the eye. Each night the man goes into the servant's room and checks to see if his eye is open. But each night the eye is closed, and the man cannot bring himself to kill the innocent old man without the eye for motivation. The master finally decides to awake the servant on the 8th night. The second the servant wakes, his master begins to frantically attempt to kill him. After the servant is dead, the man hides his body parts under the floorboards, only to have the police come in and check on the noises that had been reported earlier that evening. Having nothing to hide, the narrator shows the police around. He even sits them down in the servant's room for a little chat. The murderer begins to hear the heartbeat of the dead man and loses it. He admits to killing him. One value or privilege that Poe believes is being abused is freedom. This man is so consumed by his mental disease that he kills another man, and probably would have gotten away with it too had he not confessed. This man is abusing his freedom. The man was selfish, another thing that Poe is critiquing about American values. The man killed another human, essentially because he felt that the man's eye was evil, and that it caused other people to think that he was crazy. The last and only good value that Poe reflects on is the American judicial system. While it is flawed, the federal law is in place to protect American citizens. Poe shows that while sometimes the police are successful, they rely heavily on the conscience of the citizens to do their part.
He had arrived at Miss O'Brien's rooming house more than 2 years earlier and had lived there ever since. He came by bus from Mexico City to San Diego and then gone up to Los Angeles. There he had found a clean little room with glossy blue linoleum and pictures and calendars on the flowered walls, and Miss O'Brien as the strict but kindly landlady. Written in 1953, describes a Hispanic immigrant, Mr. Ramirez, living his American dream with an expired visa. Just as his dreams are coming true, 2 policemen come to deport him back to Mexico. He had developed a relationship with his landlady and had been working hard to earn as much money as possible at his good job building planes. His landlady does not know that he has been living on an expired visa, but she cares for Mr. Ramirez more than ever. When the policemen come to take him, she is in shock, and that soon develops into sadness. This story reflects as well as creates values. The values this story reflects are love, hard work, caring for others, being there for others, helping others, and dedication. Mr. Ramirez and his landlady's relationship reflect love, caring for, and being there for other people. His landlady, Miss O'Brien, thinks of everything she knows about what Mr. Ramirez's life will be like in Mexico, and says that she is sorry for him. As she says this, it is clear that she cares a lot about Mr. Ramirez. The value this story creates is never giving up on your dreams. Oftentimes, Americans do not choose to continue to follow their dreams after their dreams have been threatened. Mr. Ramirez, on the contrary, makes it clear that he will continue to follow his dreams. He shouts, "I like it here. I want to stay here. I've worked. I've got money. I look alright, don't I? And I don't want to go back." He makes it very clear that even though he is being forced to go back to Mexico, he will still dream of his life in America. The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry, written in 1906, is about a young married couple, Jim and Della. The couple is very proud of Della's long hair, which goes down below her knees, and Jim's gold watch. With Christmas approaching, they both want to give a nice present for each other. However, Jim's salary has been cut, and neither of them have enough money to buy something. Knowing that their valuable items will give them enough money, Della sells her hair and Jim sells his watch. Later that evening, when they give their presents to each other, Della has combs for her now very short hair, and Jim has a new chain for his sold watch. The story shows a lot of irony, but the main values it shows are the desire for Americans to have material things, the importance of family, and doubt and love. The value of material things is clearly shown when the couple sacrifices more sentimental things in order to buy new things. Della and Jim hold a lot of value in their relationship as well, reflecting the value of family. And doubt is shown when Della does not know if Jim will still love her now that she has cut her hair.
A Burglar's Christmas by Willa Cather describes the prodigal son returning home to his parents. William had always had an honest job, but on Christmas when he was hungry, he chose to do what he needed to get something to eat. The house that he chose to burglarize happened to be his parents' house. Even though his mother knows what he was doing, she is so excited to have him home that she doesn't care. A Burglar's Christmas exhibits many values related to family. William's mother's forgiveness that she shows to William is one family value that Willa Cather creates. Many families are not so willing to let their children's mistakes go like this mother. However, this is important for the next value included in her story. Acceptance is a value which Cather reflects. To most people, it is important to have an accepting family because it makes them feel like they have somewhere where they belong. This is a value that Willa Cather shows in this typical American family. The reflected value of possession is also present in A Burglar's Christmas. William feels that it is unfair that he works so hard and earns so little. This has always been a common feeling in American society. Through her short story, Willa Cather creates and reflects American values by describing a normal family in a standard American society.
Here he comes in late and leaves me all the work to do. He said you all been out bug hunting yesterday and broke a cherry tree down. He had to stay 2 hours after school yesterday and work out the money to pay on that cherry tree. Is that right? The Split Cherry Tree by Jessie Stewart highlights several modern American values, such as hard work, consequences, and being able to earn your keep. The story is about a young high school student and his friends who climb and break a farmer's cherry tree while on a field trip. The farmer charges the school with $6 for the tree. Since there were 6 boys that broke the tree, each paid $1. However, Dave could not pay. The teacher paid his own dollar for Dave and had him stay after school to work the $1 off. Dave's father hears of this and punishes Dave for coming home late and breaking a tree. This part of the story represents consequences and how our actions can have a chain effect. Dave broke the tree, which caused the farmer to charge the school, which caused the school to charge the kids. When Dave couldn't pay, that caused him to be late getting home, thus making his father do all the work on their farm, and thus causing him to get upset and threaten the teacher. The teacher and Dave's father both reinforce the fact that Dave has to work hard. While the father wants Dave to earn his keep, the teacher wants Dave to work off his debts. Hard work is a value that Americans have always prided themselves on.
O. Henry, Edgar Allan Poe, Jessie Stewart, Willa Cather, and Ray Bradbury all described a normal American person, or in Poe's case, the opposite of normal, to reflect or create American values. Since a short story can provide context, it is easier for short story authors to explain what they are trying to say. In Willa Cather's A Burglar's Christmas, Cather uses the context of William returning home to create the value of forgiveness. His mother says, "Hush, my boy, those are ugly words. How could you rob your own house?" In saying this, she is showing her son forgiveness, which is less common in real American families. O. Henry uses irony in The Gift of the Magi to reflect on the immense value Americans put on material things. Even though Della and Jim chuckle at this mishap, O. Henry is chastising people who think like this. Most of the time, short stories include a moral. The American values these authors talk about combine together to give a message. The authors use their characters and the events that happen to them to reflect and create values similar to real American values.